hold on. I'm going to introduce you and you can just come on screen. Go. Hi guys, it's Kat. Yes, it's Kat and Violet, and we're going to be sharing my birth story. And then with me, we have a special guest. It's my doula, Christine. Yay! Woo!
This is too much excitement.
Too much excitement?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like way too much.
So much excitement. I'm so happy. Why are we so happy? Okay. Hey guys, this is Kat and Violet, and we're going to talk about my birth story with my doula.
That's not the one.
Did you really just duck out? No, we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that one. That's funny as hell. So today we're here, and we're going to talk about my birth story. We're going to talk about everything I experienced a year ago. Violet just really knocked me out. Violet, yes, that's you. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. She really likes to see herself on camera.
Yeah, she's into it. She loves mirrors and she likes this.
Okay. But she's a Virgo?
She is, but she's a Libra rising.
Okay.
That's how that goes. Christine was my doula for it, and it was great. It was a super fast birth. It was 6 hours.
6 hours was definitely not enough for me to actually be able to fully participate, but more on that later.
Yeah. So my birth was all natural. It was vaginal. And I'm super hyped about that because nobody else can say that. Lots of other women can do it, but the default is getting a cesarean almost now. Yeah. I feel like I hear so many moms say that they got a cesarean.
They set you up for it.
Yeah, they be like, "Oh, you want the epidural, baby?" And they gave you the epidural, and then you can't feel.
Pitocin?
Oh, they gave me Pitocin though, but for after, for the placenta. But I made sure they didn't give it to me beforehand. But they wouldn't have.
No, I'm saying they always start births off with Pitocin.
Yeah, if it's not progressing fast enough. One of my clients, they she was 6 centimeters, but she wasn't progressing past that, and then they wanted.
I'm sorry, I'm touching your daughter's boobs.
Sorry.
I wasn't trying to be
say do not touch me there. Say don't. Say don't. Don't do it. Yes, don't.
Yes, girl.
No means no.
No.
No. Mm-hmm. She's so cute. Yeah.
Oh my god.
She has mad energy right now.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
why not?
I gave birth at Mount Sinai West
Birthing Center.
It was right above the labor and delivery, and I liked doing that just because it gave me the security of a hospital, just in case something did go wrong. But then also just the luxury of kind of being in a home. The only thing with birth centers, though, I noticed is that you have to really pull stunts to get a birthing center. Because they have such strict rules. You have to be between 39 weeks and 41. If you're a day over 41 and a half, you can't give birth there.
Oh, really?
Because you're overdue, and overdue is labor and delivery still. With Violet, I just had a really great doctor. Shout outs to Renuka Paka. I don't know if I should shout her out though. What if she just gets blown up? But she was my doctor. But my midwife, who held it all the way together, her name is Sabine Judy. She's also a fellow Haitian. She held it down. She's the one who got me together, at the very last minute. So I started progressing, really fast. But it was after I got in water. So I went from 5 to 8 in under an hour.
Right.
We're 4 to 8 centimeters dilated. I started, when did I start feeling cramps? I started feeling cramps. I was with my mom. I started feeling, you're being extra right now. You're being super extra. So my labor started about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I started feeling cramps, whatever. but they were pretty evenly spaced, and I was only feeling them for, like, they woke me up out of my sleep, and I was only feeling them for, like, 15, 20 minutes before I was like, oh shit, like, this is actually labor. And then I started getting some more pressure, and I was like, oh. Like, I describe these contractions, and I remember being at, like, the doula training, and Chanel said that to describe contractions, like, to compare them to menstrual cramps is, like, unfair. She thinks it's not, like, you shouldn't compare it like that because it's not true at all.
Wrong
and, like, yeah, and then imagine, like, if you are, like, you're a regular girl, never had a baby, and then you just think that it's going to be, like, menstrual cramps, and it's totally not. But that is how I think of them. Like, I think of, like, football and, like, menstrual cramps put together, and that's what, like, contractions are. Like, the aggression of football.
Oh.
Like, I think of, like, a ring. Like, I wish I had a scrunchie, like, just out here. Oh, okay, it's like this. This tape right here, like, this is, like, your insides. And it's just, like, there's, like, a big man in there, and she's just pulling it and pulling it. Like, really, really hard. But that, like, but plus menstrual cramps. So it's, like, the dullness of that.
What? It's all dull pain, though.
No, it's not all dull pain. In the beginning it was. And then the pressure starts coming, and you just feel the pressure, like, something is, like, opening. But it's not as bad as, like, I thought it was going to be. Like, when you see when you see depictions of period cramps, why do I keep saying period cramps? When you see depictions of contractions, it's always, like, the woman, like, like, screaming her head up, but that's not till the very end. It didn't get like that, and it was only like that for, like, right before I had to push. And I noticed that's how it is. The most craziest pain is usually for the shortest amount of time, and it's right before pushing.
Right.
So that's what it was, and I was like, okay, Mom, I'm feeling some pressure. Let's go to the hospital. So we got to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, I was at 4 centimeters. And then they checked again in, like, an hour, and I was, like, 5. And then we were waiting for my midwife. My midwife finally got there, and then I was, like, closer to 6, maybe 6 or 7, and then I didn't got in the water. I jumped to, like, 8, and then a minute or two later, it was like, all right, she's ready to push. The last bit of pain is what makes you want to give into an epidural. Like, that very last bit of pain is what makes you feel like, oh, shit, like, I cannot do this. But you literally have to. Luckily for me, I had a midwife that, like, was like, nope, like you said, you weren't, this is not part of. And even though I could have, I realized that she did that so that we could just get through it.
Yeah, right, because then it takes longer to, like, call anesthesia. You're also now holding on for the anesthesia when actually you probably can just birth your baby. Right.
And then she was like, listen, it's not going to be, like, she literally talked me out of it in between the contraction and was like, listen, like, it's going to take 30 minutes for that thing to hit, and by the time that, the baby's going to be here already. So you, like, and then also, like, and then another thing I noticed with my client, too, she, like, gave into the epidural also, but for her, their concern for her was her be staying still throughout the contractions because she was, like, a squirmer. You know, like, some people, everybody handles it differently. She, like, her whole body moved, like, intensely. So, like, we don't know if you're gonna stay still. But yeah, for me, like, I was, like, suckered out of it. But yeah, it literally is getting over that hump of, like, can I do this? Like, this is too much. Like, I'm gonna die. And the thing is, like, you're not gonna die because women have been doing this since
forever.
Yeah, since the dawn of time.
This is how we got here.
Yeah. So yeah, Christine was my doula, and it was really great to have a doula because I felt like I was able to learn a lot about birth and about, like, positions of, like, I never knew that was a thing. Like, I never knew giving birth in a certain position, like, could help things. I never knew that, like, there are things that you could do to, like, alleviate, like, labor pains, like massage or, like, essential oils. Like, I knew that stuff, like, existed in the world, and, like, I was, like, that is part of, like, what I'm into, but I didn't know how it could, like, really assist you through birth. Yeah. And, like, that whole process.
Okay. That's cool.
Vaginal pain. So, like...
Vaginal pain.
Vaginal pain. It's a thing that happens to people. So pushing was not that hard. People think the pushing and it going through the like a rocket, like that part doesn't hurt. Like it hurts. It hurts. Okay. It hurts. Shh. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No,
don't you dare do that.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Shush.
You cannot do that.
Oh, sorry, no.
You're about to have a 2-year-old.
I know, she's gonna be so bad.
What are you gonna do?
She's gonna be so spoiled. Like, they call it a ring of fire.
I was gonna say.
And, yeah, it's called the ring of fire.
Does it feel like that?
It is like a ring of fire. I compare it to... You ever we're in New York and it's just now starting to get cold, and it's that feeling that you get when your lips are dry.
Oh no!
And it's like, and you like have to say something.
No.
But it's outside and it's cold.
No.
So it's so it's dry and cracked, and then some crazy clown man comes behind you and goes like that. No, that's literally what it is. It's pretty bad.
I get it because it's like cold, like just.
It's like that tight pulling, and then that fire that you feel when your lips are super dry. That's what it's like. But that's it. Like that's the worst of it. And once the head comes out, like and also by
everything else just slides out.
Yeah, I mean it's really like heads and then wiggle shoulders.
Yeah. And the head comes through like.
Yeah, and then
isn't
well
that?
like.
Yeah. No,
babies
it
usually comes like face down usually,
yeah.
But babies sometimes turn themselves to the side like when they're giving birth, especially to get those shoulders out.
Because it's easier.
And also babies instinctively will do it. Like they'll just because she turned too. Like she turned and then got her little hand out. Yes, you did.
That's so cool though. Like just the thought of like something hiding in here that you can't see, and then all of a sudden it emerges, and you're like, yo. That is a baby coming out of.
Yeah, so there she had a client that was very, very white, and like very white, like Europe white, like not like American white, like Europe, like hailing from the island of England.
Ireland. She was Irish.
Oh, she was actually from. Sorry, I'm really bad with accents.
Wow. That's not. You can't be that bad. You can't.
No, I just know. I knew it was like a. No. Like I knew it was that kind of anyway. So okay. Very, very, very European, and she like texted me as a joke as her client's baby's coming out, and she's like, "The baby's black," and I was just like, "Yo, imagine how awkward that room would have been. Like they would have been like, oh, the baby's so cute,' and then." Honestly, you probably have to fake the funk for a little bit, and then when y'all get home, or like everyone leaves the hospital, we gotta be like.
Honestly, nobody would say anything, but that tension would be thick.
Yeah. And I know you and the nurses would have been like,
I gotta go. I'm not sticking around for breastfeeding tips. No, I gotta leave.
Yeah. Yes, and do a little work. What's the most helpful advice that you think that you've received, and what do you think like is the best advice to like give to a mom who wants to have a natural birth?
Whoa, that's really interesting. Okay.
Birth.
One of the things that I always remind myself is that you don't need anything but your hands and your heart. That phrase really works for me because I'm very new to the work, so it's always like, oh my God, what am I missing? What don't I know that's gonna pop up and manifest in this birth? What did I forget to pack in my bag? Like, what was my day like? What energy am I bringing to this birth? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about all of these things, and it's really nice to just remember that, like, I just need to be present. Like, there's no right way to support someone, and I just need to be present and just trying to figure out how to be intuitive about this person's needs so that I can do my best job. I think that if you'd like to have a natural birth, you really have to get your your inner, I don't want to say your inner self, but like you have to get your mind set in that frame as early as possible. So like I do not have children right now, and I'm working with pregnant women, and I can see that it is really painful, and it's like a big mental challenge, but it is all mental. And I think about it when I'm helping women. I think about, like, there's a phrase that I've been saying to myself: the body's weak, but the mind is strong as ever. And I feel like you have to, like, start that practice as soon as possible. If you're already pregnant, then start that practice in disciplining yourself. I think that discipline has a lot to do with birth. I think that at a certain point it can get so crazy, but if you are able to stay focused during like a very difficult period, that's going to translate into everything you do. There's this other thing that I've heard before. You do one thing the way you do everything else. So if you can...
Yo, dropping gems! Okay, go ahead.
If you can start to just practice discipline and working on, like, mental exercise in this part of your life before your pregnancy or at the very beginning stages of your pregnancy, or even if you only have a few more weeks, get as much practice in with the mental discipline and the mental exercise so that you can bring that into the labor room with you.
That's good. I think that's good advice. So we're talking about mental, but also, like, obviously, physical preparedness is, like, crucial also. Like I said also mad times.
Yes.
But also it's mad important.
It is.
So like one thing that really helped me too was like, and also another thing you introduced into my mind that I didn't think of until was prenatal yoga. Like I thought it was like so I did yoga before and I did it like really intense. I used to do hot yoga all the time. But I just never thought that prenatal yoga was like a thing that would actually help you. And then I started to get sciatica, like, while I was pregnant with her, and I was like, nah, like, I gotta, like, start stretching my body out. And that really helped alleviate a lot of the pain. And also, it got my body ready for that. She's like, I feel like she's just competing with me.
Yeah, that's what
like,
she's
she's
doing.
like,
that's what she's doing.
She's like, you're talking, Mom? I'm gonna talk.
Yeah.
A man who texts you what you're doing, like, he's not going to support you in your natural journey. So
he's bored.
He's bored, and he wants to know what you're doing. And when he asks you that, you tell him that you're preparing for a natural vaginal birth, and he will not text you again.
Mentally.
Like,
if you're not even pregnant and you're dating someone or you meet someone who texts you that, like, just tell them you're mentally preparing for birth.
But yeah, prenatal yoga was a big help. Yeah, anything that's going to stretch your body out, even like stretching in the morning and at night, that. But again, prenatal yoga just circles back to like mental preparedness. So once you start to be grounded in your body and feel things, it's really easy. It's really easy to kind of get prepared. But I also want to say that birth is not easy. There's no woman if any woman tells you that birthing, I also think hypnobirthing is bullshit.
Really? I was reading that book and I was into it. I was like,
I think it's bullshit, but like not saying that the people that it work, like I think you can trick your mind into anything, but I don't think you can trick your mind into finding birth pleasurable. Like I don't. Like I've heard.
Wait. No.
I've heard of people orgasming during birth.
Yes.
That's not the same thing as tricking your mind to feel like that pain is pleasurable unless you are wired to associate that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you think pain is pain...
Pain is an illusion.
But it's not.
Pain is an illusion.
Pain is not an illusion. Pain is how your mind, like, is perceiving it, and I guess you could say, like, perception is an illusion.
Pain is an emotion.
But then so is pleasure.
It's an emotion.
But pleasure isn't, so then it's not an illusion.
That's probably an illusion too. I haven't gotten that deep into my spiritual readings.
I'd rather say that you can look at labor as pressure and no sensation before I say that you could look at it as just like you can make it pleasurable. Like, I think that if you, especially I also think about sexual trauma and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you could ever make that pleasurable.
Here's the thing. I feel like, what is it called? What was the thing?
Hypnobirthing?
Hypnobirthing. I feel, okay, first and foremost, I think that their premise is not that it's supposed to be tricking into pleasure. I think that it's supposed to be changing the way that you talk about it so that you're not anticipating and creating anxiety and creating tension around birth. It's totally like one of those woo-woo concepts of...
Woo-woo-woo. Woo-woo. You watch Living Single?
Wait.
You ever see show Living Single?
Yeah.
Sinclair's like, woo-woo.
I don't remember that.
She used to always say woo-woo. Was it woo-woo? Yeah, she used to always say that.
That show's from when we were children.
Yeah, but like, we watch it now.
I haven't watched it.
I love how people who are born in the 90s act like
we were there for it.
We were there. Like, we like are like the biggest Tupac Biggie writers. Like, they died when we were like 1.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Exactly. 1.
Yes.
Me.
That's Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy.
Another thing that they might offer you is the laughing gas.
If you're at a birthing center.
Yeah, they have additional labor and delivery at Mount Sinai too.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, but I don't really know. It's more distracting. So maybe it can help you progress through labor, but I wouldn't recommend it for like about to like push or anything like, or like being in transition or anything like that. Only because it's just distracting. Like, for my clients, it doesn't work. Like, it would just distract her from the pain, I guess, and that's the purpose. But, like, it wasn't helpful getting her mind ready to, like, push. So, like...
What do you mean it's distracting? I don't know what laughing gas is.
Like, it's just this gas that it's like silly gas. Like,
it makes you laugh.
Like, yeah. But, yeah. Not like shrooms. Not like shrooms. Which you will know nothing about, ever.
I hope she does.
Who you have around you is super important. People like to crowd their rooms. If you know that you don't like your mom, don't have your mom in the room.
Don't bring her.
Don't. It doesn't matter if she'll be mad at you. It doesn't matter if they won't talk to you. Whatever. For the time being, they'll get over it. But
if you have a baby, they're gonna talk to you.
Yeah, like, you'll have the baby. The baby will make them talk to you.
That's it. And then they can get over it, and you can get over it too.
Yeah. If you know that your husband's annoying you, it's okay to ask him to leave the room for a moment. That's my phone. It's probably creditors calling me. Okay, bye. Okay. I think...
So, the part that Kat did not mention was that she did mention this. Okay, I just lied. The part that Kat did mention...
You're a liar!
So, what happens when... Okay, that's not what I'm trying to say. We should have told the story together.
We should have.
Because you text me, you're like, yo... You didn't say yo. You text me like, hey, I think I'm going into labor. I'm going to go to the hospital now. It was like, okay, cool. You went to the hospital and they're supposed to send you home.
Yes. Also, like, I'm surprised I didn't remember that to say. I know why I didn't remember. Anyway, they were going to send me home. And then my doctor, shout outs to Paka, was like, actually, don't go home. Maybe just go, because it was around, at that point it was like 7 in the morning, and I had Violet. I gave birth to her at 9 a.m. So it was about 7 in the morning, and they're like, go outside. They're like, go outside, and maybe like go get some breakfast or something. And I was like, close up on this section right here. So cute.
Girl.
She's like, I gotta see myself.
Yes.
On my way to the hospital, I get to the hospital. This is my first time at this hospital. So I'm like, where is labor and delivery? I get to labor. Actually, I think I did ask for the birthing center. I was like, where's the birthing center?
Yeah, you found me really quick.
They sent me to labor and delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, Kat, Catherine Francis. Oops, excuse me. I was like, is this girl here? Where is she? And they said that you weren't there, so then I had to go to birthing center, and I found you. And as soon as I walked in, the baby, you, were on the table.
Fresh, brand new baby. Brand new. When your hair was slicked down, your baby hairs was laying flat.
And she was just had her eyes closed, and she was just like, yo, I'm out here. You
were there when they tried to show me how to breastfeed, right?
Yeah.
That was really interesting, too. So I'm also, like, breastfeeding all the time still. But that first latch was something powerful. It was cute. Her little mouth.
A little.
I was very worried about not being able to have her latch correctly, though. Like, I felt myself panicking.
Okay.
But the nurse wasn't there.
Oh.
I was just like...
Everything seems so easy for you, though. Like, you are the most, like, chill, relaxed. Like, everything's easy breezy.
It's a facade. It's fake. So, like, I have a nonchalant, I don't care attitude about a lot of stressful situations that people... Like, I have this thing of, like, being super, super, super anxious and then keeping it inside.
You implode.
Yeah, but then, like, when it happens... That is just like a little poof, and then after that, like whatever happens.
So actually, it's not that big of a deal to you. No.
Because I've already freaked out, and I've already assessed all of the things that could go wrong, and I'm like, you know what? Go with it. I think being like a spiritual person, or like I guess an optimist, at the end of the day, I'm a pessimist. Like on the inside, like if I'm an egg, like the yolk is. Like optimism,
okay.
Like shell, like so deep down inside, I'm an optimist, but outside of that, it's like pessimism. No, like so the inside is yolk,
okay,
and the inside is optimism. The white part is realism. The shell is pessimism. Okay. So as you peel back the layers, you realize it's like...
I think that's natural. So this makes me want you to get as into Esther Hicks as I am.
Okay. Esther Hicks. Apparently she's great.
The mind is a tool that is supposed to help our bodies seek basically like protection and like it's our protective layer. So our intelligence is what we use to decipher like what's safe from what's not safe. And a lot of the time, because of society and we haven't been really taught how to use our brain as a tool, we have this glitch in our brains that has a bias towards negativity.
So I actually was watching Shan Booty. She's one of my favorites. She had a video about that. She was like, "How?"
Is she into this?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't in regards to Esther Hicks, but it was in regards. Yeah, but it was the same like philosophy. Like there's science that says like you have like 70,000 thoughts per day, and your brain by design is naturally... Violet, please don't do that. Your brain, like by design, is naturally like prone to assessing every risk. So everything is risk. So like she even like made like the reference of like if you put a glass on an edge of a counter, like no matter what, like your mind is going to see that glass shattering on the floor. Like you'll be in a car and like you'll imagine yourself getting into a car accident. And it's so funny because I was like thinking like, and this has in relation to my birth, that's what was happening with me too, which is why I think I was handling it like that, because my brain had already assessed like, okay, if all this shit goes wrong, like the shit goes wrong, but like let's just take it in stride and like let's just go with it.
Word. And that's such a big thing to be panicked about that it's like you might as well not.
Yeah, like my thing is like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But I think I have to just pay attention to what's going on around me so that I can then make sure that I'm making the best decisions possible for things to go well. And if things don't, then you know they don't, and then I can say, okay, whatever happened was out of my control,
right? Because
I tried my best to kind of just deal with everything head on.
Totally.
But yeah, that whole our brains like assessing things and thinking about things in negative terms, that's it's totally normal, and I think that's also super important to be positive because our brains are wired to see negative already. It doesn't need any help.
Exactly.
Birth is about the mental. A lot of it is about the mental, especially if you're trying to get through it. Don't let these hospitals pressure you to get assistance that you may be able to go without. Especially, and this is geared towards people whose goal is having a natural birth and physically are able to do it. This is not geared towards people who have a medical situation where they can't. If you have scoliosis, you need to get a C-section. If you have certain things going on, it's not geared towards you. It's not attacking you, but it's geared towards people who have a goal in mind and want to reach it. The pain can distract you from doing it. It's important to be mentally sound. As mentally sound as we can be, because we're all like kind of crazy.
A little crazy.
Oh, okay. All right, and that's gonna be it for this video. I wanted you to meet my doula and hear a bit about my my birth experience. If you have any questions, if you have any experiences that are different from mine, as far as like what you felt pushing or what you felt in contractions or anything like that, you can leave them in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, show other women your birthing experiences. Subscribe is here or it's here. If you're mobile, it's here. If you're not mobile, it's there. This is the first video I've ever made asking people to like and subscribe. So you're here for that. It's pretty cool. She does this.
This is my thing.
This is the first time.
I don't know where this came from.
You saw like a movie. You saw like a movie where like
I just started doing, like I woke up and I was just like this for everything.
And your boyfriend was like,
he
did he just stare at it?
But he still does it. I did it to his friend, and his friend was just like,
with it?
No.
He didn't know. You do it like it's a microphone. You have to do it with assertion, like, yo. Like, you have to, like...
you're right. I need to be more like...
Yeah. Well...
Is that too aggressive?
Yeah.
That's like, or else.
Say bye-bye. Say bye.
Say bye. Bye.
Wave. Say bye to the people.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Super cute.